Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is D.FERGUS. I'm the owner of D.FERGUS and phly and rugged maps and a whole bunch of other stuff. Anyway, I've had a lot of questions, a lot of people emailing me, asking me to do some sort of presentation to show you how we fish the JIGGABEAD. So I'll be posting some videos in and out, but I wanted you to get down the basic rigging. So the JIGGABEAD is made to fish underneath the mule, which is the delivery system for the JIGGABEAD. So let me just show you real quick how I rigged that. So generally speaking, we have a bobber, and coming down here, depending on the size or the depth of the water or whatever the case may be, we have the mule. Now this is a little bit bigger than normal, obviously, but so this is a marabou jig or whatever we decide to make or whatever. You guys can figure it out. This is the mule. Anything with the eye on top and eye on bottom is the mule. This is your delivery system. Then below that, we have the JIGGABEAD. Now this, at a bare minimum, is three feet to upwards of 5 feet. So that's between here and here. So that being said, the whole idea of this method is so that you can jig fish and drift fish in one cast. Now I want to display a couple rumors or some common things that a lot of people don't know. I see a lot of guys on TV doing what they call bobber dogging, and it's basically got real popular, and they fish it with the float down and pulling the beads and everything downstream. The whole pegged bead system was developed in Alaska, and it was developed for, just a second. It was developed for a horizontal presentation. So the water levels were pretty shallow. So we have the water levels up here and the rocks down here, and the fish would be here. And so what would happen is they would have a bead and they would peg the bead. The reason they pegged the bead away from the hook originally was it was better for the trout being caught. They found that when they hooked fish on the outside of the mouth, the retention or the life expectancy of that fish was much, much greater. So the fish is sitting there with his mouth like this, and then the line just comes, he grabs the bead and just pulls it right into the corner of the mouth. Okay? So that's a horizontal presentation. That method was developed for shallow water fishing behind salmon for trout. Now, we tried this, I want to say about 12 years ago. I guided up in Alaska, and I thought, man, pegging a bead would be really good for steelhead. So I started to peg beads. So I noticed that we lost about 50% of the fish, okay? So much like the fishery up in Alaska where they fish a horizontal presentation in shallow water, now we're fishing vertically. So we're fishing vertically, and with your bobber up here, well, now the fish is sitting there with his mouth open. He comes up, he takes the bead, and the line above and below the hook goes off to the side, and you hook them out on the outside. Every now and then, if it's being drug, they might catch him in the corner of the mouth. So I've watched a few guys. I fished a couple years ago and watched a guy do this, and I watched him lose like 4 in a row. And I was just at a hatchery, and I just looked at him and I said, why are you pegging your bead? That's not how that was developed or designed. So I know I'm going against popular opinion, and I see videos all over the place with these, you know, with people fishing beads and pegging beads and bobber dogging. We've been fishing the dropper method for about 12 years. So that being said, I want people to realize that that's why you lose so many fish. Now, take a drastic comparison to how many fish do you land on just a straight jig? Ask yourself that question. How many fish do you lose when you hook a fish on a jig? Not very many. So our land ratio on the JIGGABEAD is about 90% because it's a jig and it has the same hook ratio. It's always hooked right in the upper part of the mouth area, just like it is on a regular jig. So now you have a bigger advantage. So if you are fishing beads, try our JIGGABEADs out. You're gonna land more fish, and you're gonna figure out that the whole jig method was appropriate for a vertical presentation and not for a horizontal presentation. So hopefully that'll give you a little tip for all you guys out there. Sorry if I'm being a little blasphemous, but I've caught a few fish, and I would never peg a bead in a vertical presentation. It doesn't make any sense because you're literally putting a weed guard on your bead, and that's why you hook fish every now and then, you know, you lose them. The reason people bobber dog is that they found they were more successful because it's dragging everything through the run instead of it fishing vertically like it was meant to. So they started to catch more fish that way and land more fish. And at that point, if you're just bobber dogging, you don't even need to worry about setting the hook hardly because the bobber does it for you. But the first guy that I learned how to jig fish from was from a gentleman that owns salmon, trout, and steelheader called Nick Amato. And he taught me, that's the first time I ever jig fished was with him. And he showed me, and I've watched that guy catch fish behind everybody. And he showed me what a true dead-free drift with a jig will do. Now imagine having a dead-free drift with a bead and a jig. You double your odds. Anyway, I'm Derek. Hopefully we'll be doing some more instructional videos for you to come, but I hope you enjoy that. And please comment, subscribe to our channel. It's just D.FERGUS. I think we have 11 subscribers right now. Hopefully it'll get a little bit better as we start to explain some of the things that we've done in the past years. And for those of you that don't know, I was in the industry for about 15 years and in the fly fishing industry for about 15 years. And I'm the guy that developed all the jigs for G.I. Joes and over the edge tackle. So if you're wondering where you might have seen this before, it's from over the edge tackle, which I helped start, gosh, 10 years ago. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you around.